Hello, Meta is Dope family. Welcome back to the Meta is Dope podcast. I'm your host, Pop Buchanan. How about our last episode with our co host and co founder of Meta is Dope, Jennifer Ruff? Give her a round of applause. She is the best. I love her. This episode is about our latest book, Wacky Mei, The Rise of the Trons from Meta is Dope. We are so excited. For everyone that follows us on Twitter at Meta is Dope, you saw that we had our unboxing today of our book, Wacky Mei, The Rise of the Trons. And I really just wanted to do an episode where I talk about why this book is so important to Meta is Dope, why we wrote it, why we did it, and how it relates to the NFTs. Now, first of all, if you new to the NFT community, you heard of something called utility. And there's been a lot of broken promises in the community as far as utility. People trying to start clubs, people trying to start these movements, and they don't deliver, people running away, rug pulls, all of this stuff. When we started Metas, though, we said, listen, the best utility is equity from the origin point. Like really being in the grassroots and on the ground floor with a company and seeing them develop and having something that could be a keepsake through the development like an NFT. So if you have a Meta is Dope NFT, you could say, well, I'm part of the Meta is Dope team, part of the Meta is Dope universe. But there's progress built on that where you start to see Meta is Dope books, maybe a Meta is Dope film, and things like that you start to feel attached to and you say, okay, my NFTs has intrinsic value because they're tied to something bigger than just the NFT itself, right? So you could have an emotional connection to it like I do. Like I might personally say I want to keep a Wacky Mei NFT because 20 years from now when Wacky Mei's a, gigantic and we built this whole universe, I'll be one of the original people with the original book, the original manuscript, the original NFTs, and so are the people who invest with us on the ground floor by, collecting our NFTs. But there's another part to it. Why we started the Mid Comics, and MID is the acronym for Meta is Dope, and we go by Mid Comics because we're between the heavens and earth, and somewhere in between all of that is Meta is Dope and the Meta Tron World. And we're really excited about that. And Mid Comics is really bringing the pain. So our first book was They Were Sent, the Godly Nine, where it talks about the story of nine beings who are activated on Earth as living Trons when they are merged with angels. So when humans and angels merge, they through something called quantum superposition, they become what we know as Trons, and they are dispatched from Meta Tron World. But we don't know exactly who sent them. But they were sent to create balance because the evil and malicious and dark demons are just running rampant on the planet, and it translates through sex trafficking, crime, rape, murder, genocide, politicians, and from everything that you see all the way down to the pits of hell. And at some point, the angels in heaven started saying, look, we got to tip the scales and we got to do something to create balance. And it's all tied to these portals opening up around the planet. So we was like, you know what? We see things happening on the earth in real time that's really dark. Then we see things happening on earth in real time. And somewhere between Meta's Dope and Metatron World, we believe that the activation of the real superhero starts with humans on an inner level. To have empathy, apathy, to activate the God within, that spirituality within. Now, this is not heavily based on religion, but it's based on spirituality and the concept of higher powers, right? And this kind of invisible war, the spiritual warfare war that we know are going on through principalities and powers. But this also talks to the human condition, right? When we look at the character Mei from Wacky Mei, she was a human being that was struggling with the abuse of her past, being abused by her boyfriend, being let down by her dad, being let down by men, being a victim of rape, trigger warning for anybody, being a victim of the evils of the world, and her being kidnapped in this book was the catalyst that caused her to start to really go inside and look for that inner light, and thus eventually activating her inner Tron. But it takes a look at her on a human level and the thought processes of disappointment that she had in the world. So, this is extremely passionate for me. This is extremely passionate for Jennifer and the Meta is Dope team. And I want to just read the actual description of Wacky Mei, The Rise of the Trons, straight from the book. I'm holding it in my hand and I'm very happy. Wacky Mei expands on the They Were Sent, the Godly 9 series from Meta Tron World. The story follows a young girl named Mei that is kidnapped and held captive by a sex trafficking demon called Craven. Follow the thoughts and emotions of Mei as she looks at her life while being bound, gagged, and blindfolded. Explore the story of how this young woman channels her inner light to activate the angelic power within. From demons to angels to portals and multiverses, Wacky Mei delivers a fascinating short story of miracles and second chances. This NFT-based comic-style short story book has unique NFT art and is foundational to the development of the Meta Tron World and the Godly 9 universe. Witness the arrival of the Trons and take a glimpse into the dark, murky, and wacky world. Yes, so this is really inspirational, and I want to also talk about just the creative process in general. We launched Meta is Dope in January of 2022, officially launched in February. So every NFT that was created, about at least 1,000 or 2,000 assets and 2 or 3 books happened between February of 2022 to now July 11th. We really went hard this last 5 or 6 months, and made a lot of personal sacrifices. And I want to talk about the creative process for artists out there and for people out there who want to get started. Don't give up. And just like the character Mei from the Wacky Mei story from Meta is Dope, you have to persevere. Even in your darkest hour, you can't give up on yourself. You can't forget that light. You can't forget why you was put here. Every last one of us has an inner story. Every last one of us has a legacy. We have a reason to be. We have something remarkable to contribute to this universe. And don't give up. When in doubt, activate the Tron within. Go within, right, to find the magic. And this is important because when we talk about the rise of the Trons, I'm actually talking about human beings. So the story of Wacky May is set in 2027. So it's a few years out, and I did that on purpose to kind of give some perspective of the story, how the future of our planet um, is in this world and in our real life in somewhat of term, it's in some form of turmoil, and it's important for us to really start to kind of look at what that may look like. We have like a lot of things being they reverse Roe versus Wade. You have marijuana legalized. You have upside down presidency on every side, right? We're coming out of a pandemic. We're going into a recession. We have the war in the Ukraine. We have a lot of things happening. Mental health is at an all-time high. Addiction is at an all-time high. Rape, sex trafficking is at an all-time high. A lot of this stuff is crazy. And sometimes when you feel powerless, you have to kind of find a way to voice your opinion and take a stand. And we did that through writing Wacky Mei. May's character is a normal human being who just hit rock bottom from the evils of the world, snapped, and she did something about it, right? She decided to take a stand. Not just her higher self and angelic counterpart in heaven decided to take a stand. This story is about every fabric of your being getting up and saying enough is enough. I have to look at the person in the mirror. I'm the one that has to make the change. Shout out to Michael Jackson, right? So this is an extremely fun story for me and a story for Jennifer and the Meta's Dope crew. And I just want to read a little bit for you if you don't mind. It's very exciting. So we're going to read a little bit from Wacky Mei. And you're listening to the Meta's Dope podcast, all things NFT, comic book related, everything from crypto, NFTs. Right now, you can find all of our NFTs on object.com. This episode is inspired by object.com, sandmilk.com. Those are the two platforms you can find Meta is Dope. We are very carbon friendly, nature friendly, and clean NFT friendly. So we decided to migrate 90% of our catalog over to object.com through the Tezos blockchain. And we have been really developing a beautiful community over there. Shout out to everyone from Lucille, from Pam OG, from Shitwolf, Wise Dog, the whole crew. So many people to mention. There's so many beautiful people on Object. Object.com is literally one of the most amazing artistic platforms ever. So if you're not on object.com or the Tezos blockchain, get over it. Get over there, man. Leave OpenSea and all that Ethereum junk alone. Right now, you can mint one Tezos is roughly $1.70 or between 150 and 190. It fluctuates, but you could imagine that versus one ETH. And the whole Tezos blockchain is run on the power of a toaster oven, so it's extremely carbon friendly. So, all right. So back to our book, Wacky Mei: The Rise of the Trons. On a not so normal summer night in Brooklyn, New York, Mei and her friends go clubbing. After the COVID-19 pandemic, the club scene has become crazy. The year 2027 brought harder drugs, crazier sex, more predators, and sophisticated sex trafficking. After a hard night of partying, Mei and her friends are stuck in a horrible slumber, as if they were drugged. Mei's friend, Sam, seems to be dead. Her other friend is missing. Mei is unconscious and barely breathing. Mei is usually the life of the party and earned the nickname Wacky from being complex, a bit manic, and super free spirited. But her wackiness was her way of blocking out the long life of abuse and pain. Mei is 25 years old and extremely spiritual. She practices deep spirituality when alone and has a deep connection to prayer, God, and her love, yoga. Her spirituality will come in handy later because at this moment she is unconscious, half naked, and in grave danger. Mei and Sam were targeted and drugged by some shady goons that are part of a large adult Pizzagate style sex trafficking ring. These men targeted Mei and Sam due to the glow that Mei gives off. Mei possesses remarkable beauty and emits a light energy only detectable by certain people that can read bioplasmic auras. These men were sent by an extremely dangerous and powerful warlord called Old Man Craven. Craven was said to be over 200 years old. He stopped aging in his early 60s. Craven was said to be part human and part demon and survives on the blood of female sex slaves. Craven was attracted to Mei's glow. He knew that her blood was sacred and could sustain him for another 1,000 years. This sex trafficking Cambion transforms into a terrible reptilian-like creature. He is responsible for over 3,000 missing women and craves indigenous, African, and Asian women along with young girls. Mei checked all of his boxes, and the special energy from the light that she omitted activated the demon in Craven. This demon is from a dimensional portal known as the Coldness. It is a dark and evil malevolent dimension where fallen angels, apex trons, and demons reside. These beings hunt earthlings, light workers, light beings, and pure entities throughout the multiverse. Craven is a nasty shapeshifting being that sucks the prana or light from women dry. Craven sent his goons to abduct Mei. When Mei awakened, she had a horrible feeling of being in danger. She is horrified to find Sam dead. With close to no energy left, Mei was lost and confused. When she attempted to walk, she stumbled and then fell unconscious again. All Mei remembers is the sound of the men in the room and the voice of a goon saying, "Take that one and feed the other one to the necro beans." A few of the men grabbed Mei. The other took Sam to a dark place never to be seen again. Mei was bound and placed in the trunk of a car where she passes out again from exhaustion. Mei wakes up when the trunk opens. She is then dumped in a field with a man holding a gun over her. She was young and very serious. He spoke directly to Mei. "Don't resist, it won't matter. You will die like your friend. Be quiet and make peace with your maker. Come nightfall, you will be nothing but a memory." He proceeded to gag Mei. Defeated and hurt, Mei listened to the young man and remembered Sam. All Mei could think of was her best friend lying dead at the apartment. Mei's whole life flashed before her eyes. From a little girl, Mei was abused. This abuse led Mei to build an altered ego that was manic and silly. Mei remembered being hit by her father and left alone crying every day because he was an alcoholic. The thought of this caused Mei to start bubbling with anger. Mei never felt loved or protected. Her anger kept growing. She thought to herself, "I wish I could be strong like my idol Super Sally." Super Sally was a popular superhero created in the NFT verse in 2021. Mei always had a low-key crush on this NFT superhero. Feeling powerless and trapped by these assholes is what caused Mei to throw herself into a mixture of prayer, meditation, cursing, and crying. Mei was an emotional nuclear bomb waiting to explode. Memories of being assaulted by her first boyfriend came to the front of her mind, fueling her resentment and pain. Another man that she trusted, another man that broke her heart. Mei was date raped by her boyfriend and she never told anyone. She kept it bottled up. And now all she can think of is revenge. Between her cries are the faint words, "Why God, why me?" Now, feeling a burlap bag go over her head, the cold from the grass, being dragged into a room and tied to a chair, Mei kept remembering. The more she remembered, the more she awakened. The one good memory of her childhood was her martial arts class. Mei studied ninjutsu and Muay Thai. She became extremely skilled. However, her boyfriend was also her martial arts partner. When he raped Mei, he overpowered her, and this is why Mei stopped going to the dojo. Emotionally broken, Mei repressed years of training and never practiced again. Mei always felt that she was stronger than her boyfriend despite the fact that he was a black belt and she trained under him. That memory always agitated her. Mei froze when her boyfriend assaulted her, and that fear paralyzed her. The defeat fused with heartbreak caused her to hide her feelings. Even more from that trauma came the jokester and silly-head type personalities. Feeling the men surrounding her and being blinded from the bag over her head, Mei faded into the darkness, upset and prayerful. She becomes more rageful, and all she can focus on is how good she was at ninjutsu. The darkness and heat from the bag over her head caused a slight sense of delusion. Feeling tired and dehydrated, she had to sip on her tears and use her practice of meditation to keep her mind sustained. Mei knew how to use her life force energy, and this is part of the reason why her light was strong. The light that Craven wanted to devour, the light was deep within her soul. It is an ancient and primordial energy. She never understood the light within her, but she sensed that it was special. This light first appeared when her mother died and appeared again when her father abused her. The light came back stronger and never left after her boyfriend raped her. Mei's friends did not have this light. This light caused her to be drawn to prayer, yoga, and helping others. She would volunteer at the local women's shelter and would always stand up for anyone that would bully other women. The more she did for others, the more her light grew. It was a symbiotic relationship between the human in her and the light within her soul. Mei tried researching light or energy she felt, and could only find references to a mysterious angel called Meta Tron. This angel creates other angels, but there was not a lot of information on this being, and eventually Mei stopped searching. She just embraced the light, hid the pain, and pretended to be happy. Pretending to be happy when you are sad creates a form of bipolarism. This led Mei to be extremely happy on some days and extremely dark on others. She would daydream about killing men, all men. She despised evil and aggressive men. After years of pain, Mei could sense when a man was evil or had bad intentions. Every man in her life hurt her. Every man in her life tried to darken her light. This sustained abuse caused Mei to hear voices. It was a powerful trauma response that would be the foundation for her split personality. Mei would hear a powerful voice in her mind, and this voice was also silly and crazy, but perfectly confident. The voice would always say, "Why worry, dear? There is nothing to fear. They're all pussies, so don't be scared." This clown like sing songy voice would urge her to stand up for herself and would tell Mei that she was more powerful than any man on the planet. This voice was very clown like but sinister. One day, Mei had a dream of a very powerful creature that would kill evil men and laugh while doing it. The last time she dreamt of this creature, it spoke to her, and it was the same voice in her head. Upon waking up the next day, Mei grabbed a pencil, a red pen and paper. Mei started to outline the face of the voice in her head. The image she drew was disturbing. Hours passed, and Mei was still being held captive. She overheard the goons in the room say, "We wait for Craven." Craven wanted to consume Mei on this day in particular. The night that Mei and Sam were drugged, Craven took his private jet to Utah for a major event near Skinwalker Ranch. It had been heard that the supernatural portal opened up on this day around Utah's Unitar Basin. The basin is said to be a paranormal place where many demons and galactic entities come through. He is now flying back to New York, where his helicopter awaits to take him to feast on his ultimate treasure. Hearing the laughter of the men and smelling the smell of dog shit along with the stench of dead bodies, Mei grew more enraged. Still gagged with a bag over her head and drunk off her own tears, Mei was steaming. Being trapped in darkness for so long created a perfect anti-zen and zen-like frequencies for Mei. These frequencies in her mind appeared as two polarizing bulbs of light held together by a tiny light in the middle. She was hot, and a light in her was growing. This inner voice returned. Mei was aligning herself with the light within. The young goon yelled out to the other men, "Craven is going to suck her dry. We are in for one hell of a payday." The men started cackling with evil laughter. The voice in Mei's head whispers, "From Tron we come, to hell they go. I knew you since you were in utero." Mei smiles, releases an almost silent chuckle, then passed out again. Everything fades to black. The Reckoning. On this day in 2027, two portals open up. The first portal opened up in Utah, and the second portal opened up over a pond in Woodhaven, New York, called Shrek Pond. The first portal created a dimensional bridge between the coldness dimension and Earth. The beings that came through were evil and of high order, with the dominion, thrones, powers, and directly attached to what Earthlings considered hell. This portal would produce a legion of beings 10 times older and darker than Craven. This portal's opening would signify the beginning of a silent war between Apex and Alpha angels, lizards, demons, and ancient Earth angels. These angels are called Trons throughout the infinite galaxies. This war is part of the multiverse war, and it all happens in the world of a mysterious creation angel called Meta Tron. These secrets in space holds the reality that there are beings that are sent from the creator via Meta Tron to create multiverses and transform multiverses. The Trons, or angels that go rogue, chooses to destroy multiverses for evil and personal gain. These Trons in time morph into demons and are sent to the coldness. And the Alpha Trons that are created to keep balance are dispatched to hunt them. One particular group is the Godly Nine. No one knows what dispatched the Godly Nine. This remains a mystery locked within the secrets in space. For centuries, the good Trons or angels stayed separate from their earth bodies. Staying in Haven of Metatron, these angels will only guide the humans. The Godly Nine stayed connected to their earth bodies and will one day unite with them, creating a next generation of Trons. Using Metatronic physics, quantum superposition, and quantum entanglement, the angels created a frequency in which two communicate with their human counterparts via lights and voices. Activating the full power of quantum superposition, these Trons will all merge from 2 points in space while existing for the first time as one complete being instead of two separate beings that are connected. The transformation to be continued. Ladies and gentlemen, please, if you want a free copy of the Wacky Mei Rise of Trons, set up an object.com. If you want a Tezos blockchain, find us at Meta is Dope, and we'll you can buy an NFT. We have a collection called Wacky Mei. Some of the NFTs are as low as 10 cents. Some go up to about $1.50. Each will get you a free copy, or you could purchase a copy on Amazon. I will leave links to everything in the show notes. As you can see, Wacky Mei is a fun, intense book, only 72 pages long. It's a fast read because it's a powerful story that's happening within a 48-hour period in real time. So what we're trying to accomplish is a series of stories that connect back to our first book, The Godly Nine. As you can see, Wacky Mei is one of the Godly Nine. So this being volume 2 is breaking down her individual story, how she was activated alongside the other 9 Trons on this beautiful day in the year 2027. You're listening to Meta is Dope. Check out us at metasdope.net. Check us out on sandmilk.com, object.com, Google us. We're also on YouTube as Meta is Dope. I love you all. I am Pop Buchanan, the founder of Sober is Dope. I am 9 years sober. I use my sobriety to create, and my creative powers are unceasing and ever expanding by the grace of God. I love you all. Again, you're listening to Meta is Dope. Shout out to our beautiful co-host Jen Ruff. Over and out. I catch you on the other side. Cheer, cheer.